Welcome back to Talk Solent. Joining me on the sofa today are Mike Stratton, Helen Davies and Mike Andros Zaeus. Now, a debate which comes up year after year and very relevant, of course, at this time of year. Is it time for restrictions on fireworks? Many argue that fireworks, especially as now they are more readily available via internet purchase, are going off for several weeks and are upsetting and even distressing for both animals and some vulnerable people. So let's ask our panellists on the sofa today, should there be a ban on fireworks outside of designated dates or periods? Mike Andros Zaeus.
Very interesting point.
I saw you through the corner of my eye nodding during the intro there.
That's a very interesting point, because animals in particular, dogs and cats, can be terribly distressed over these popping and banging noises. It goes without saying. And of course, with that, I mean, I've heard horror stories in the past about children maybe picking up the metallic stems of sparklers after they've gone out, and that hot part where the flame patterns have been coming from have burnt their fingers terribly. And obviously things like that had to be seriously looked into, because that isn't nice.
I think people should just have more respect. There doesn't have to be time limits or time, you know, that people just need to have more respect for the fact that, you know, outside of those times, maybe you don't do them and you do them nearer the time. Maybe it's about educating other people to have more respect for other people.
People are just a bit over-enthusiastic and they don't always realise. And it's like with Christmas, some people would argue some people start.
Yeah, but they know the dates
far
of when
too early.
they know the dates of when fireworks night is, so they do realise they choose to do it.
Too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting what you've mentioned there about Christmas, because, you know, I mean, in quite recent years, people have been speaking about the commemorative celebration of Christmas in late August. And you think, well, I mean, when I was a kid, it was good. But traditionally, as I say, you heard about it late November, early December, and that was always the way when I was growing up. We should go back to those more traditional values.
Mike Stratton?
Yeah, I think with everything is, but I put a lot of it down to being just commercialised. Everything's advertised 6 months before the event. People take advantage of that, hence Christmas in July and stuff, which we were talking about before the show.
We were.
And fireworks particularly, I think there should be more control on when they should be used or when they can be used. Bonfire night, New Year's Eve. Maybe if they were going to say, well, yes, you can use fireworks at any particular time of the year, maybe put a time scale on it. You can't use them after this time of night. You can't use them before this time of day. Because people do take advantage of it, and they are effectively they're dynamite, aren't they?
Yeah.
But isn't there a time limit? It's not after 10 o'clock at night, isn't it?
No.
Isn't it, or is it 11 o'clock at night?
There's no law now.
Oh, isn't there?
No,
I thought it used to be.
No, there's no law for noise nuisance anymore. You can make a noise at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and be a nuisance.
So people can't be done for a breach of the peace anymore? Like
yeah, they can, at any time. You could phone your neighbour, you could phone the council up or your housing association at 1 o'clock, housing association at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and say, my neighbour's causing a nuisance, and they'll do something about it. Environmental health. But I think environmental health need to step down on that.
Are the three of you fans of fireworks? Do you enjoy fireworks? Have you indulged
I like watching
recently?
them.
I enjoy my own, not other people's.
I like watching them.
I know.
I like watching them. I went to the one in Bewley just over a week ago, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, no, overall I do.
About 11 years ago, I lit one of those multi-shot cakes. You know, the ones with got the plastic bullets. They look like little wax crayons, and they're all laid in this big square cake. I think it was I was a 50 shot, right? And it was one of my very previous relationships, and if they watch this tonight, they will remember this. It was like Bosnia, right? Because I put it on the path, I lit the fuse and I put it on the path, and the path was like that, and I thought, that's good, they'll go over the house, and it tipped on its side. And they were like,
oh no.
We all got hit. We all got hit by these. And I think, I think...
There's always a danger, isn't there? There's
Yeah.
always a
They are
danger.
dynamite.
There's always a danger.
They are
If
explosives.
They can be.
They are explosives.
Let's get the perspective of somebody who sells them and has been dealing with them since dealing in them since the 1970s. Owner of party shop Make It Magic, Peter Gallagher, whose shop has sold fireworks on Shirley High Street since the 70s, says the debate comes up year after year. He said there has been neither a rise nor fall in fireworks sales over the last few years, or even since online sales were introduced. We're a specialist party and online shop, he says, and to be fair, the sale of fireworks is limited and sales past November the 5th aren't really an issue. you can access fireworks all year round, but the amount of nuisances are very small in his view.
I think people just need to be re-educated.
Is there
I
an
think
age
that
limit
needs to be constant.
Is there an age limit on buying fireworks?
Yes, there was for a number of years. You've got to be at least 18, if not
I
20.
was
Well,
21, yeah.
It's interesting,
21
yeah.
now, maybe, but it used to be 18.
I think it should make it 25.
People
Yeah.
need to talk to each other, he says, and say they're having the fireworks.
Yeah.
We only sell to over 21s because you can't always tell if an 18-year-old is actually an 18-year-old. And we never sell to anyone who smells of alcohol, he says, so therefore they're a responsible retailer.
Yes. So maybe more communication then.
So he's got a fairly liberal view, and hopefully it's a minority of people that don't have any
Rebel.
consideration,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Small minority.
and as he said, this comes back, this comes up, this issue year after year.
I don't think handheld fireworks are safe.
No, I probably agree actually.
I used to love holding sparklers.
You
as
know,
a
the
kid.
handheld fireworks. I think
Like
it's been made-
sparklers,
I think
for
that's been,
example.
even sparklers, I think it's been made illegal to hold. Anything that you can hold by hand, they shouldn't make them because they're dangerous. What if they backfire?
So the debate has been sparked up once again.
Very good.
Sorry, I couldn't help
No
it.
pun
I couldn't
intended.
resist that.
Excellent pun.
Yeah.
So we shall obviously we'll follow and see if any changes do come about, if they do change the legislation on that. So moving on now, a positive letter now from Anne Brackenbury of Bowcombe to the Isle of Wight County Press about respect for the highway code and a driver that she observed, a bus driver, doing just that and driving courteously. Mrs. Brackenbury laments the lack of good driving and manners on the road on the island in her letter. So, are good manners and driving a rare thing in our era, or do you think the majority of drivers are responsible and courteous? Who'd like to begin on this one? Is courteous and good driving rare these days, Mike?
I
or
think
do you
it has
most people
become
are
rare. It's
quite
got a
good?
bit like Demolition Derby, the game that used to. It has a bit, really. But yeah, I mean, there's still very sensible ones, obviously. But yeah, there's a build-up, a mass population of motorists. And in the 30 years or so since I was learning, I mean, yes, it's altered a great deal. It was busy in the mid-80s, but it's chock-a-block now. Yeah, absolutely.
I actually tend to think that people have less manners full stop, and that includes on the roads.
Do you know what?
Of course, you're not. But you're not old enough, Helen,
to.
to. You're not old enough to make any comparisons with
I am old
years
enough.
ago.
I am. Honestly.
One person who seconds what I've been saying for years is how manners and decorum, respect has changed so much.
Let's go out the
lack
window,
of
hasn't it?
actually.
Let's face it.
Driving, there's only one word really to describe it.
Road rage.
No, Daytona.
Yeah.
Nobody indicates. The amount of
No. That's why we're laughing, because we
nobody
know.
indicates the amount. Nobody says please or thank you. Do you know what? If I pull on the side of the road and I let somebody go past, and I've got my window down. I mean, I probably shouldn't admit this on TV, but I'm going to admit it. And they don't say thank you. I shout out the window. I go, "You're welcome," because I think where's your? Don't always just stick to "you're welcome," but I
Is
want
that
to
the
know.
polite version?
Yeah, I want to know where manners have gone on the road.
But it's full stop. I'm just saying
I
full
like to
stop with
think-
manners,
I
let
like to
alone
think
on the
the
road.
major-
It's just full
On the
stop.
road.
I like to think the majority of people are courteous and considerate, but there's a sizable minority, and maybe a minority which has got bigger.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, the thing
it's
is,
almost
you don't
like every
drive.
man. It's almost like every man for himself, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like a jungle kind
Yeah,
of.
it
Yes.
is. But if you don't drive, you don't notice it so much.
No.
When you drive, you notice it more.
As a cyclist, I notice it, but then again, I also notice how cyclists can be naughty as well, and cyclists can do things they shouldn't do.
Yes.
And sometimes cyclists and motorists can blame each other,
Yeah.
but they can be as bad as each other.
Yeah, both at
sometimes.
fault.
Yeah. That's another 2 words I use from time to time as well.
What's that?
I can't say it. Cyclist is one of them.
Cyclist is 2 syllables. Isn't it?
I
But
wonder,
it can be on both sides, can't it, with
Yeah.
cyclists and
Yeah,
motorists?
yeah,
is it a generational thing? I don't know.
I think in
I'm not
some ways
being
it is because
I'm
the
just
attitudes
throwing that out
have
there.
altered over
Well,
the generations. Yeah.
in the
Let's
generation of
just-
drivers. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, it's
Yeah.
not generational.
Okay.
I've had I don't know, I can't put an age on it, but let's just say I've had a very elderly gentleman put his middle finger up at me on the road. and I've had other signs done as well by people of that age.
I think I know what you mean.
By people of age generation, and I've actually been called some really nasty names by a couple of bus drivers, which has really infuriated me. You know, I think it's just.
I'm just trying to work out where it lies.
Mannerism on the road is just, it's all round. I don't care who drives, whether it's cyclists, motorcyclists, drivers, bus drivers, lorry drivers, van drivers, they're all the same.
Well, on a positive note, Anne Brackenbury says, you know, a bus driver, back to buses again, who actually knows and applies the highway code, well done, Southern Vectis, which is the name of the bus company. She said he indicated properly when he was going to change to the centre lane when making his way towards the town centre.
Was she a driver?
Something's tickled you again, Mike?
I could remember, well, even though I think years ago driving was more tolerable, I think, than it is today, and I would agree on that in many ways with my own views, but funnily enough, there was some intolerance back in the 80s, and I do remember, dare I admit, my stepfather, he had a dreadful intolerance on the road, and some of the gestures that he used to make to other motorists, he felt he wasn't, if they weren't driving well enough.
It'd be funny if your stepfather and your ex is watching tonight, wouldn't it?
Do you know what makes me laugh? I remember when I was 16, I had a moped and I had no intolerance on the road back in the 80s, and I remember somebody carving me up. Well, they didn't carve me up, they was driving sensibly. It was probably me because I was a teenager and I was on a moped. And I gave them a load of abuse and stuck my middle finger out and ended up spending the night in the police cell because it was CID.
Brilliant.
We've got to go to a break. On
My
that note.
stepfather was a policeman.
Oh, there you go.
Coming up, we'll be going over to Kate. We'll be going over to one moment. Coming up, we'll be going over to Helen once again for her take on an article from the National Press catching her out on life coaching. And if you've got news that we should be talking about, then do contact us on our email talk@thatsolent.com or send us a tweet on Twitter, #TalkSolent.